Hi, we'll be starting with section 8, the composite and mixed supply. Now both composite and mixed supply arise in situation when there is a supply of more than one goods and services as a part of a single transaction. The question about the tax rate and its taxability comes up. Before we understand how are they treated under tax, we need to understand the meaning of what is composite supply and what is mixed supply first. So let's begin with understanding what you mean by composite supply. The definition of composite supply is given under section 2 subsection 30. It says when there are two or more supplies given together as a part of a single transaction which are naturally bundled and in the ordinary course of business, and out of which one is a principal supply, it would constitute a composite supply. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's say if you are booking a flight ticket, you get not only travel services but you also get a meal, that is food, and you also get travel insurance. So as a part of a single transaction, you're getting more than one goods and services. Now we know that all goods and services have a different rate. So the question comes up, which rate is to be taken? So let's say if you're going to United States and the travel ticket is of 55,000. This includes your transportation charges, it includes your food, and it includes your travel insurance. Now we know that goods and services have a different rate applied to them. So let's say travel is charged at 18%, food is charged at 5%, and insurance is charged at 12%. Now this is a single transaction, that is you booked an airline ticket of 55,000. And in this 55,000 you're getting more than one goods and services. Now what rate will you take? So section 8 says whichever is the principal supply, that rate is to be taken. Now what do you mean by principal supply? Principal supply is that supply which is the predominant element in the transaction. Predominant element means the main aspect. So we can see from all these three, which is the most important. So the most important is your travel services. Because you're traveling, you're also getting food and you're getting travel insurance. And therefore section 8 says whatever rate is applied to the principal supply, that will apply to the entire transaction. So whenever the invoice will be made, let's say the invoice says that the ticket cost, the ticket is for 55,000. Now what rate will be taken? The rate applicable to the principal supply will apply. In this case, 18% GST will be levied on the entire transaction. The principal supply is travel, because when you're traveling, you're getting the ancillary services and supplies such as food and travel insurance. Common sense है, तुम खाने के लिए तो प्लेन टिकट नहीं बुक करोगे, राइट? तुम खाने के लिए थोड़ी प्लेन टिकट बुक करोगे, तुम प्लेन टिकट बुक किया तुमने, उसके लिए तुमको ancillary activities मिल रही है such as food. Clear? Now we understand that in composite supply, the rate of the principal supply shall be applicable to the entire transaction. What is principal supply? Principal supply is that part which has the predominant element of the transaction. Let's understand with a few more examples. Let's say if you've gone to buy a torch, and with the torch you've got a battery as well. Now let's say the torch has a rate of 12% and batteries when sold loosely is charged at 5%. When you went to buy the torch, the rate of the torch, let's say the value was 5,000 rupees. Now what GST rate will you apply? Since as a part of a single transaction, you're getting two or more supplies. So they say the rate of the principal supply will apply to the entire transaction. So what is the principal supply here? It is the buying the torch. So that is 12% will be applied to the entire transaction. So what do you mean by principal supply? Whichever is the main act which will be found out from the circumstances of the case, and which are naturally bundled with each other, means they naturally go hand in hand. So when I say naturally bundled, means it makes more sense to provide them together than to provide them individually. It is smarter and more convenient to sell a torch and a battery together. Let's take another example. Whenever you go to buy a television, you get not only the TV, but you also get the remote control. Now here we know that remotes can also be sold loosely. But here in this, whenever you buy a TV, you normally get the remote control as well, because you cannot operate the TV without the remote. So they are naturally bundled. It makes more sense to give them together. And it is in the ordinary course of business, that it's a normal routine practice to give them along with each other. Okay, let's say if the television is bought in for around 1 lakh rupees. Now the question comes up that TV is charged at 18%, but if you see the remote, it is charged at 5%. There is not going to be any division. The entire transaction, since it's one single transaction, rate will be taken of the one which is the principal supply, which is the TV in the instant example. Let's take another example, and now this time I want you to tell me. Let's say you went to buy a mobile phone, and the mobile phone was of rupees 1 lakh rupees. Okay, mobile. Now mobile phone, the rates for that is 20%, and on charger when sold loosely is taken at 12%. Now when you buy the mobile phone, it is always coming along with the charger, right or wrong? So this is naturally bundled, they go hand in hand naturally. And normally in the ordinary course of business, all the business traders supply it together. So what rate should be applied to the entire transaction? So it says whatever is the principal supply, that rate should be applied to the entire transaction. So what is the principal supply? It is the mobile phone, and whatever rate is applied to the mobile phone is going to apply on the entire transaction. Let's take another example. Let's say if I have ordered a few goods. Okay. Now whenever there is goods, you have purchased the goods. Okay. Let's say these goods you have purchased. And on the goods, the rate applied is 18%. With the goods, they have also provided you with the insurance, goods in transit. Let's say even insurance is provided. That is a service. Insurance service is also provided, and insurance services separately, if you go to see, is 12%. And let's say you have booked the goods for rupees 50,000. Okay. And the seller is selling these goods to you for 50,000, including the insurance, free insurance during the transit. Now the question comes up, they are sold together, they are bundled together, joined together, and are being sold. So it's a single transaction. Now what rate is to be taken? So whatever rate is applicable to the principal supply, which is a predominant, superior activity, and the others are only ancillary activity. So here we see purchasing of the goods is a principal activity, and getting a free insurance is only ancillary subordinate act. And therefore the entire transaction will be charged with the rate applicable to the principal supply. Let's see if we have any other kind of examples. Now if you notice, and you have a car, and this car regularly goes for servicing. Now in the servicing, car service, they provide you various services. Okay. And at the same time, there is changing of oil, the spark plugs are changed. Sometimes the wear and tear, whichever activity, air filters are changed. Now all those goods are changed. But for the car service, you have paid in total 22,000 as a single part, as a single invoice. This is 22,000 is charged for car service. Now question comes up that what rate is to be taken. So car service is 22,000. What GST rate to apply? So here, since it is a single transaction, there is not going to be any breakup. One single rate will apply. What rate should be taken for servicing or of the goods? So here the principal supplies the car service. And let's say if this is charged with 18%, this is with 28%, the entire transaction will be supplied at that which is applying to the principal supply. Okay, so 18% will be charged. If we see the another one, okay, this I think you might be able to relate as well. You have bought an AC. With the AC, let's say you're getting 3 services free, or you're getting installation free. So let's say you purchase the AC for 35,000. Is the AC cost. Now this AC cost includes not only the AC but also the installation services here. Now AC itself is at 28%, but installation services, if you see separately, is 12%. Since it is a single transaction, the entire transaction will be charged at the rate what applies to the principal supply. Next we'll be seeing what is mixed supply. Mixed supply is a kind of a transaction where goods and services have been clubbed together and have been sold, which necessarily need not be clubbed. They are not interdependent and can be sold independently into the market. So let's say for example, this basket is being sold. Now this basket has been clubbed and is being sold for a price of rupees 10,000. Now there are different rates applied to this box of chocolate, let's say 18%, to this coffee, which is let's say 28%, this another kind of goods which are of 5%. Now since it is all combined and clubbed together, which I could say artificially clubbed, because they are not interdependent at all and can be loosely sold into the market. So at that point of time, law takes the rate which is the highest on them and then applies to the entire transaction. So here we can see the highest rate is 18%. So 18% will be applied to the entire transaction. That is called as mixed supply. The definition is given under section 2, subsection 74. So let's see other example also. Let's say if I supply a cake and with the cake I give a bottle of soft drink free together. Now it has been artificially clubbed. It is not sold in the normal course of business. So here, if there are different rates applied, we take the highest of the rate and apply it to the entire transaction. Why do we call it as mixed supply and not composite? Composite are dependent on each other. There is a link between them and it is normally sold in the market. However, in mixed supply, they are not naturally linked or bundled with each other. That is, they are not interdependent and can be sold separately in the market. For example, it is not necessary to sell the pastry and the cold drinks together. So whichever is the highest rate will be taken together. Sometimes we have these Diwali gifts and you make a hamper with this entire all these 3 elements. And let's say this entire box is for 18%. So it's one transaction, contains 2 or more goods and services. What rate will you take? In mixed supply, you take the highest possible rate on any of them and apply it to the entire transaction. So entire thing would be charged with 28% GST. Let's see another example. Now the rate that we take in mixed supply is the rate of the supply which has the highest possible effect, and that would be applied to the entire transaction. If I take another example of mixed supply is a box of celebration chocolate. Now here all these have been clubbed together and is being sold as a Diwali celebration gift. So here whatever rate is applied on these different goods, whichever the highest rate is applied on the entire transaction. Let's say another example of mixed supply is if I make for a groom a particular package. Okay, in a marriage, I want to give someone, I make an entire package, and the entire package costs rupees 5,000. Now all these goods are levied at different rates. Let's say this is at 5%, this is at 3%, this is at 8%, and this is at 28%. Can you tell me which rate will be taken on this entire package? It would be taken the highest rate. In this case, it is 28%. Next example, if we see an entire box, let's say you have this dental toolkit which is being sold for a price of rupees 1000 in the market. Now, since these are not interdependent, they are not linked anywhere and can be loosely sold into the market, and it is not commonly sold as a naturally bundled, naturally linked. So therefore, what rate will be taken? It is a mixed supply. So whatever is the highest rate will be taken on the entire composition. So let's say if the toothpaste, for instance, is liable to 12% GST and is bundled and clubbed with a toothbrush, which is 18%, and sold as a single unit, it would be called as a mixed supply, and the highest of the rate, that is 18%, will be applied on the entire transaction. Okay. Next example also, if you want to see, let's say if a bucket of water is being sold with a detergent powder. Okay, so there is some detergent powder sold with a bucket. Now again, these have been artificially clubbed, not interlinked, can be independently sold into the market. So whatever rate is applied to the highest of these goods is applied to the entire transaction. So now we've understood what is the tax liability on composite and mixed supply. So let's see what is exactly given in section 8. And this is the entire section 8. Market as most important, so mixed supply. So section 8 says the tax liability on composite or mixed supply shall be determined in the following manner. Composite supply, which comprises of two or more, of one of which is a principal supply, the supply shall be treated as that of the principal, and in case whatever rate is applied to the principal supply is applied to the entire transaction. Whereas when it comes to mixed supply, the rate will be treated as a supply which attracts the highest rate of tax. So when mixed supply comprises of two or more supplies, it will be treated as a supply of that particular supply which attracts the highest GST. So that is the provision. Now sometimes to determine whether a particular thing is mixed supply or composite supply is a matter of fact. Why? Because every time the interpreters always choose to prefer which attracts the lowest rate of GST. Okay, so to see whether a particular transaction is mixed or composite supply, there are a few guiding principles. You need to see whether they are naturally blend with each other or no. You need to see whether the customer expects them to be supplied together. So when I buy a AC, I know I'm going to get the remote. Okay, when I put a car for service, I know that the oil will be changed. So here whether the customer expects them to be supplied together. Whether the secondary supply is helping the better enjoyment of the principal supply. So let's say if in the car, if there is an air ticket, we know that the principal is transportation, but to ensure that if there is a long flight, let's say from here till USA you want to go and it is a 16-hour flight, you know, for the passenger, giving the meal together is a normal course. Next, if we see whether they can be supplied together, it is one of the aspects to determine, and whether it is normally done by the other suppliers or not. So now you tell me this. I'm just going to bring in a little kind of something which is controversial. Let's say there is a new concept come out of staycations. People go staying for 2 days, 1 day, and then come back. Now let's say you want to have a staycation in Taj, Trident, or any of the 5 stars. Now they normally provide accommodation with breakfast, free Wi-Fi, swimming pool access, right or wrong? Yes. Now tell me, is it composite supply or mixed supply? Firstly, you get more than one for paying, let's say you're paying certain amount. For that, you're not only getting the stay, but you're also getting breakfast, you're also getting free Wi-Fi, and you're also getting access to gym and swimming pool. Now tell me, isn't it 2 or more supplies in a single transaction? Let's say you're paying rupees 30,000 for the stay. Okay, this is just one amount that you're paying, and you're getting all this bundled supplies together. So it would be treated as composite supply. Why? Because this is normally done by all people. You get breakfast free, you get normally Wi-Fi free, and you get access to the amenities as well when you book it. So the entire transaction will be charged at the rate what the principal supply, that is the stay, is, or accommodation of the guest. Whatever rate is applied to that is applied to the entire transaction. But if I tell you this kind of a transaction where another staycation is there, in the staycation you're getting accommodation, you're getting breakfast, lunch, dinner, you're also getting wireless Wi-Fi, and you're also getting massage services. Now you realize that this is being clubbed together, which is not normally done. It is not necessary for stay that you have to get massage services also. So here this can be treated as mixed supply. And when it is mixed supply, you know that if this is charged at 28% and all the others are charged at, let's say, 12%, the highest tax rate will be applied. So therefore, understanding whether it is composite supply or mixed supply is very important to determine the tax liability. And that is it. We are done with the section.